What's up, everyone? We are in F, follow-up assimilation. How are we following up? Someone's interested in what we have launched. How we're following up with this person matters. How are they being assimilated into our family, into our organization, into our service? Whatever it is you're launching, man, I am glad that you are still plugging away at this thing. Someone has now shown interest in what you're launching, and you want to maximize that first contact. That first group of people that come on board will be your best evangelists. And you remember that word, it's a key word. An evangelist is people who are excited about what you're doing and they're telling everyone about it. These early adopters will become the ones who tell the stories of who you are. So you want to have a clear follow-up process that assimilates these new visitors into your family. Here's an example I want to show you through this particular video here of a 7-step process for follow-up. All right, step 1, you collect the email, you collect the cell phone number, you collect the address of that first-time guest. How do you do this? Well, you could just ask. You may be surprised at how many people, when you ask for their information, will just give it to you. This is pretty key. Getting that information allows you to continue a follow-up process to make them assimilate into your family. You just have to treat their information with respect. And you may need to offer something. Figure out some kind of way to invest into them when they invest into you. Maybe it's 10% off the next purchase, depending on what you're launching. Maybe it's a free ebook that you have set aside as a gift for them. Maybe you're adding them to a weekly newsletter that has fun facts, coupons, stories, something of value that you offer them when they give you their information. The bottom line is you have to figure out a way to create a relationship with a new subscriber, a new visitor, a new person that goes beyond that first visit. The second step is, once you have this information, you welcome them with an email within 48 hours. This is where you assign someone on your team this person, this follow-up person that then makes sure that this new person doesn't fall through the cracks. You want to connect them with your organization, and this begins your relationship. So this first email, you're going to tell them about who you are, how excited you are that they're part of who you are, and how they can connect in greater ways if they want to. This goes back to your vision frame, your elevator pitch, all the stuff you've already worked on. If you put the time in, you know exactly what this first email is going to look like. You're welcoming these people into your family. Step 3, the email the second week. So you had the email within 48 hours, and then a week later, you send another email. But this email is a request. It's an invite. You're inviting them to have coffee with you. This seems so strange in our world, but if you can get them to connect with a next event, maybe it's coffee with you personally, depending on what you're launching, or it's a upcoming event that really connects them to who you are. Either way, you're inviting them to something beyond just being another number for them. And then step 4 is what that event is. Now, I call it a coffee meeting because in ministry, when someone came to our church, I went out of my way to make sure that I had coffee personally, one-on-one, with every single new person because I valued them. And in all of these meetings, they were always shocked. They said no other pastor or place that they had visited invited them just for a one-on-one time of coffee. And then in that coffee time, I listened. I asked them about who they were, had them tell me about their past, their church experiences, their family. I listened. And when it was appropriate, I told them the reason why we existed, the future of what we're trying to accomplish, the vision frame, the elevator pitch. These coffee meetings, if I could get the coffee meeting, if I got the information, I got the first email, and I was able to have this coffee meeting, I would say 90% of the time they were in. They were connected. So whatever you're doing, what does that look like? Whatever you're launching, What's that connecting point where you give them a little piece of you? If you're growing like massively and you have to have just big events and big comeback events, fine. Whatever it is, you're connecting them to this event that tells more about who you are, which is actually step 5. Even if you're doing the one-on-one, once a month, you have to have a connect event. What is your connect event? That monthly thing that tells people all about who you are. It tells your vision, your history, the details of your organization, your staff, your future plans, all of it. This event happens once a month, and you always make sure you're putting that out there for people to jump in, because maybe they didn't give you the information the first time. But by the 3rd or 4th time, they finally feel comfortable to start giving you a little information. And then they finally feel comfortable to maybe respond to an email, and maybe not coffee one-on-one, but this event with a lot of people. Maybe 2 months later, they're like, okay, I do want to see what that's about. So you want to have this event always happening, even if you're not sure where your fluctuation of visitors are happening. All right. Step 6, this is where you place them into a smaller group. How are you connecting this person into some type of small group of people that also believe in what you're launching? These can be done in so many different ways, where you are connecting people into this smaller groups that they all become part of each other. Even if you're launching a new product, you might have special online Facebook groups where they get into smaller groups to talk about the product. Or it could be some kind of special events where you're having different events around the world, different kind of small group events where they get to have their own get-togethers. But you're creating these small groups so people beyond who you are now connecting with each other, with people who are also excited about what you're doing. It's very important that you go from something that's just big core to more of an amoeba of lots of different sections of people connecting with each other. It matters. It really matters for exponential growth. 7. Now the 7th connecting point is text messaging. It probably seems like something that might be first, but text messaging is a key component to having those last minute updates for people, those quick reminders about something, those specials that happen. People will get very annoyed if you email them a lot. People will get very, very annoyed if you phone call people a lot or them a lot. But text messaging is a way to just get a quick bulletin about something that's important. It has to be important. If it's just random, yeah, that would get annoying. But if the important message is coming through text messages, people want that. So you create this last line of follow-up that says, I'm gonna make sure that if there's some change last minute, you're the first to know. And that's how people will feel. Now, if you have a building, this follow-up assimilation process, I want you to think of it as from the street to the seat. However that looks for you, think about every single part, and then train your teams accordingly with every single part in mind. So in the street, when they're driving up, what does it look like? What does parking look like? What does greeting look like? Are people directing others towards the right place that they're supposed to be? The signage all look appropriate. All the signage is welcoming, is nice, it communicates some place that you want to be. How many times have you shown up to this weird building where you have no idea where the front door is, you're not even sure you're at the right place, and you're like peeking in going, is this the right room? It shows that place does not care, and usually those kind of places, you're like, I just need to get this done and get the heck out of here. That's not what we're building. We want to build something that really welcomes people. Clean signage, clean parking, all of it makes sense. Clean greeters that get you through the door and to where you need to be. So that's the patio. What does your patio look like? Is it warm? Does it invite people to hang around? Do people go beyond one word answers and questions like, what's your name? How have I met you before? And instead they ask deeper questions. How do we know each other? Is there a question that you can put out that really connects people to tell their story and how it connects to what they're doing and what you're doing? You want to think about the patio as this place for real connection, real community to happen. Then they enter your building. All right, follow-up assimilation begins in all of these first impression steps. Another great F word could have been first impressions. We will talk about that more later, but these first impressions will have a dramatic effect on what your follow-up looks like. So you go into the building. How are your team members, those that have been trained, or how are they connecting people to what you're doing? We need to be prepared for any question. Where's the bathroom? Where do I go next? Where do I get this thing that I need for moving forward? Whatever it is, you have to make sure your team has the answers, because the worst case scenario is they walk in and they look for someone that looks like they know what they're doing, and they ask that person something, and that person's like, I have no idea. Go ask Bob. You know, how often does that happen when you enter places? Let me get a manager for you. It's like, well, what are you? How do you not know this basic information? We have to train and be ready in all situations. Watch out for insider language. Insider language is that language that you begin to use when everyone that you're with kind of knows the building, knows the thing that you're doing. And so you start to have these key code words that you don't mean to do. You don't mean to do it, but you have these code words that everybody just knows what it means. When you say, oh, the brown couch, right? We're all meeting at the brown couch. A new person has no idea what brown couch. Is there one only particular brown couch that everybody goes to? Like, that's the kind of insider language you got to watch out for. And as you think about starting something new and this follow-up assimilation process, this is where the rubber hits the road. It is the hard work to do the part that's not easy. The easiest part is just launching what it is you want to launch, doing that first event, all that kind of stuff, getting that product out, and then just hoping everything works out, that people like it, and return, and then keep coming back. But the hard work, when you really want to step in and go from something that might be good to something that's great, that is the follow-up assimilation. This is where you show that you really care and you're willing to do the hard work to be successful. With that in mind, I want to give you a few keys here. And these keys are some things I want you to think about for yourself. Are you willing to do the hard work? Here are the keys to put this kind of mindset and saying, I am willing to do the hard work, which means I am willing to do the follow-up that takes time, energy, and I'll have to build the teams to do it. Key number one is decide that you're the change maker. Are you willing to pay the price? Are you willing to take the lead in this area, to be successful, to commit to the ultimate call that every successful person has had to do before you, and say, I'm in. I'm all in, and I'm going to make this work no matter what. Then create a team. Don't settle for a small team. Keep building your team every day. You may have that core team that you really like, which comes in the next step, but I want you to think about teams everywhere. Every aspect of what you're trying to accomplish, you build a team. You may even have online teams where you just vent once a week or once a month too. In the church world, we had a prayer team. The prayer team, I had 300 plus people that I was just sending out saying, this is what I need you to pray for, and this is where I need your help this next month, if you can. You have these different teams for different parts of what you're trying to accomplish. You have to always be a team builder. Then the third step is developing the core. This is the all-in team with you, the one who meets with you regularly, probably daily. This is that group that you clarify your vision with, you ask the difficult questions with, you organize your plan, you work DNA with. This is probably your biggest financial supporters, those that are all in not only to help you, but also financially help you. And then 4, build the network. What's happening in the area that you're trying to reach? If you want to be great at follow-up, know your area, know who's already there, know the history of the area, know who's tried and failed before you, who's been successful. Build relationship with local leaders and people who live in this area. You need to know, number 5, the local predicament of the area. What is unique about the area, the opportunities and those you're trying to reach? What is the biggest need in the area and the community that you're trying to go to, and how can you make a difference? This is when you will step up and care about follow-up. Number 6, what's that collective potential of your team? What's unique about you guys? Your resources, your capabilities, what you can accomplish. If you know how you are unique, your collective potential of who you have, you're going to be able to effectively reach more, effectively follow up, and be effective in how you follow up. What is your like-minded goal? What particular focus most energizes and animates your leadership team? How is everyone on the team like-minded and focused on one goal moving forward? What is that goal forward? The 8th thing here for follow-up is to start. Everyone on the team needs to begin sharing with people, following up with people, talking to people. Everyone on the team needs to be working towards what you're trying to accomplish. Whether or not you are holding meetings regularly to get people on board, or you just intentionally train people this way, but everyone is just moving forward. They're all helping in this process forward. Number 9, build your marketing team. Whether it's logos, mailers, social media, door hangers, radio, TV, this team has to work together to create one message. Knock on doors, gauge your community, go to 250 doors a week and just get random samples of what you're trying to do and how it's connecting with people. Ask questions, find out how what you're doing is significantly making a difference in your community. If you care, if you really want to be successful, you will follow up with things like this. Number 10, build the core teams. Once you know your local predicament, your collective potential, your goals, you will then build your core team around that and willing to commit to the difficult journey ahead. All the people will be on that same core team moving forward. Some of these sound familiar, I know. Last one, create your online giving site. All right, no matter what you're doing, maybe it's a GoFundMe, maybe it's some kind of process in which you get early donations. You want to build a war chest that says, I'm willing to go the distance. I'm willing to fight for this, and I'm willing to raise money for this, which, by the way, is the G that we're going to talk about next time, giving. How do we raise money? But with this, I want to close it up like this. This follow-up assimilation process, be a learner. It's not easy, and this is where the good separate from the great. Be great. Great means you follow up and you continue to learn. We start with a posture of, I don't know everything and I need to learn more. Be aware of your personal limitations and build a team around you that is strong where you may be weak. Regularly ask for help. Ask for instructions and guidance and advice. Continue to develop yourself and invest into yourself to be teachable, learning. Set priorities each week, each day that have these components of learning within them. This is what will separate you, and you will follow up and you'll be amazing. You will be successful. So now go put all of these things into action. Make sure you have your own personal follow-up process for what you're trying to accomplish, where your goals are, where you're trying to get to, and then you put that process out there and say, this is how we follow up. And everyone on your team knows this is how you follow up. This is how we make a difference. So let's get ready and let's go!